хийгээд
гişэлэг мат.
Also if you see particulates are going into the air.
Би рүүпхийн шог харахгүйгээр 1 минутанд иглүүлж 30 минутанд 1000 цифр тогтоодог. Энэ бол хичээл сургуулийн үр дүн. Аливаа үдлийг олон дахин давтвал дадал зуршлуулдаг. Хуримч гэсэн үнэтэй адил. Тогтмол хуримтлуулж байж үр дүнд хүрнэ. Судалгаа хийж үзэхэд 2 сая орлоготой өрөх сар бүр 200 мянган төгрөг хуримтлуулах боломжтой байна. Ингэж хуримтлуулж чадвал 10 жилийн дараа 53 сая төгрөгтэй болсон. Тийм учраас хуримтлалыг зуршлуулах.
Үнд дэсний хуримтлалын хөдөлгөөр.
Тань хэрэгтэй бүх үйлчилгээ нэг дор зогслоос. Дэлхийн брэндээр томилсон хансаг зэрэглэлийн орон сууцыг 1-3 жилийн хугацаанд төлөвлөн өөрийн болгох таатай боломжийг зөвхөн бид сануулж байна.
миний ертөнц, миний уран бүтээлийн минь тусгал.
King Tower Luxury Apartment.
Сайн байцгаана уу хүн үзэгчдээ. Өнөөдөр манай дефакто нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Английн what3words за ийм нэртэй компани үндэстэн байгуулагч гүйцэтгэх захирал ноён Крис Sheldrick оролцож байна. Good evening.
Good evening.
What are the 3 words? Please tell us. What is this?
Well, the 3 words is a new way to think about addresses, because not everywhere has an address in the world and in Mongolia. So what we've done is we've divided Mongolia and the world into squares of 3 meters by 3 meters. And we've actually named each of those 3 meter squares with 3 words from the Mongolian dictionary.
Okay.
Which means just by saying 3 Mongolian words, so the equivalent of table, chair, spoon, you're actually referring to 3 meters. So out somebody's front door, for example. So it means that you can forget about street addresses.
Yes.
Because often you say behind the building and near the yellow door.
That's what we do regularly.
Exactly, and you can just say, come to my house at table, chair, spoon, and someone will be navigated there.
Okay. Wow. How?
Well,
first of all, any 3 by 3 meter square in Mongolia could be called here. It could be why 3 words, by the way.
Okay, so we wanted to name every square in the world.
Okay.
And you have to have enough combinations.
The first out of the 3 is to be that nationality or not?
No, they are random words.
Random words.
Yes.
And then okay. So in that way, you are kind of suggesting alternative address coordination.
That's correct.
Okay, worldwide.
So that is correct. So we have named every square in the world. This is fixed. You can't change it. So it means when you use...
It's done already?
It's done already, yes.
So in Mongolia, it is existing with these 3 words with your card?
That is correct. So in English, it exists today, and other languages like Spanish. Now next month, we are launching a Mongolian version for the world. So every 3 meters in the world in 3 Mongolian words.
It could be Mongolian words?
Yeah, absolutely, it will be.
Wow. Okay, now let's go to the most interesting part. How does it work?
So really, it is mathematics, because there are GPS coordinates everywhere in the world. Yes. But these are really long numbers, and you know, if we were going to meet for dinner, if we met for dinner, it's unlikely, I would say, meet me at 42.186238912 degrees north, minus 0.6, degrees west.
Yes, it's
nobody
way
does
longer, and will not understand.
So we realized that instead of using 20 numbers, you could just use 3 words, but still have enough combinations to give everywhere a unique name.
Unique name, so not repeated anywhere else.
Exactly, not repeated anywhere else in the world.
And as you said, it can be different in all languages too.
Yes. So imagine table, chair, spoon was in the middle of Ulaanbaatar.
Yes.
There would not be another table, chair, spoon in the world.
Yes.
Maybe
our studio could have a separate name.
Yes, this part of the studio to this part of the studio.
It can be different.
It can be. So imagine, this week I'm trying to find buildings in Ulaanbaatar, and the buildings are big. Now you can specify the actual entrance, and people won't get lost.
Okay.
And imagine the herders and the people outside of the city.
Yes.
It's really difficult to describe a location there. Now you can. It's the same for everybody, just 3 words.
Okay. Now I understand. You can put GPS, put name, then now at the end, how I will communicate with this information through my smartphone, or how does it work?
Well, this is the thing. So you can communicate with your smartphone or just in person. Like right now, I can say to you, Toffee Branch Pyramid, and we've just said 3 words. You can write it on your business card. Maybe when you give people a business card,
This is the address.
they then have their address. On your website, maybe there is a Contact Us page, and then you can put the 3 words on there. You can remember them. It works for any way that you communicate.
So
in life.
remember the query code. It's kind of similar.
It's a little bit like that, but it's one you can remember and say.
Yes, query code, you cannot say anything.
Yes.
So in my name card, I would, in Mongolian, I can give 1 word.
Yeah.
And in English, I will take what you have already named, everything.
That's right. So we're in the process of naming all the squares in Mongolian at the moment. So on your business card, you will have the 3 Mongolian words, and that's it. Anyone who picks it up will type in those 3 Mongolian words, and they will navigate to your 3-meter square.
Where we'll type it on
On the
Google?
what3words app.
I see.
Or the what3words website.
Oh, I see. This is now I got the point. So your website, kind of navigating people through the address that is unique, and you cannot confuse it.
That is correct. That is absolutely spot on.
Wow. When you have started this?
Well, I started this 3 years ago, and we started thinking this was an idea, but now this is a big business, and we're used in 170 countries.
Wow.
So, I mean, I had the idea because I actually used to work in music.
Yes.
And every time we did a concert every day,
Yes.
we were given a new address.
Yes.
And me and the band, we would try to find it, but we always got lost.
I see.
And after years and years, I thought, somebody could just make this much simpler. We didn't always have to find, the wrong entrance to these big stadiums. Why can't we just be more specific and make it really easy?
So in the stadium, you will say the address. They will give you the gate address with 3 words.
That's
you just
right.
Go exactly.
Because
you will never get lost.
We will never get lost.
And you have been, or not lost now, since you have made this.
Now we have 3 words. We never get lost.
How long? 3 years?
3 years we've run the business.
Amazing. So you said it's already a running business.
Yeah, it's an up and running business, users in 170 countries, and we now have more and more apps who actually build in what3words. So they're the world's biggest offline navigation app, NavMe, have built us in. The United Nations have built us into their disaster recovery app. The national mapping website.
Using your coordination.
Using our coordination.
Disaster coordination.
Yes,
Wow.
because after disasters.
Oh, that's particular, important thing.
But also Norway and Finland, the national mapping systems, have built in what3words.
Wow. So what is your business formula? How do you get paid?
Because the businesses who integrate us into their apps, we get paid by them.
I
see. For the consumers,
for consumers, not paid.
It's totally free, yeah.
Wow. Wow, wonderful.
So imagine a taxi app here where you could say, pick me up from word, and take me to word. They would pay us, but the consumers would enjoy it for free and never have to be on the phone to the taxi finding out where they are. They'd have a better experience.
So it is possible because this Google Map, probably, right?
Yes.
This is the application of this system works in that.
Since digital maps have become more common and GPS technology is in all of our smartphones, it relies on the phone's GPS technology receiving from the satellite. And the opportunity is there for us to now do this.
Wow. Chris, that's something will save a lot of time.
I think so, and I think for us it's particularly exciting to be in Mongolia because there's a lot of, when people are getting things delivered to their homes, a lot of the time on the envelopes you actually write the phone number on because you assume that the delivery people will not find you. So I think for Mongolian businesses this can save time and money, and for Mongolian people...
Will it be any, your partner here, or everybody can address you?
Everybody can work with us.
Okay, only businesses can pay for you for that job.
That's right. But we're already, talking to a few delivery businesses who can benefit from our services.
In Mongolia?
In Mongolia.
So how optimistic you are about that, when it will be done?
Well, I'm very optimistic. We're looking to launch Mongolian 3 words next month. And that's the beauty. I mean, anybody can just take our bit of code and put it in their app. So I've met a food delivery app here who want to build us in. I've met an e-commerce marketplace who want to build us in. And it takes about a day for developers to do this. This is not a hard integration.
This is going to be bigger than Google, by the way.
Well, I share your optimism,
Okay.
and I hope so too.
Okay. So before we continue further, I would like to have several questions about your education. I finished Eton College, which is the most famous college. How many prime ministers have graduated from the college?
That's an interesting question. Certainly more than from anywhere else in the
Yes.
UK, but I wouldn't tell you the exact number. Perhaps over 20, I would guess.
Yes, that was about when I visited early 90s, your school, on the way to Windsor.
Yes, it's very nearby.
Very
to
nearby.
Windsor.
And tell us about the history of your school, college.
Well, the school was founded back in 1440.
1440.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's well over 550 years old. I mean, it's an incredibly traditional school, but one which gives phenomenal opportunities
Yes.
to people. And I was lucky enough there to do a lot of music, which led me to set up my music business. But also I learned a lot about technology, which I guess has led me now down this
So
path.
both your music and technology knowledge or inspiration were given in Eton.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And then you have done the school, Royal Academy of Music,
Yes,
King's College, London.
that's right.
Another very famous school and college.
Yeah, that was a real privilege to attend that institution.
Was it easier because you have done Eton, or?
No, I think you're judged on your own individual merits to
I
get
see.
into these institutions. So
Okay.
I was really happy.
So you're a musician?
Yes, that's my training.
Which
As a
instrument?
piano player.
Piano player.
Yes.
And when you start to play piano?
I was actually only 4 years old when I started to play the piano, but I had a love for music, and yes, my schooling, music was a big part, and I was lucky enough to do that for a lot of my life.
Wow, and you have been organizing this many international live music concerts, or you
That's
were
right.
founding, or what you were doing?
So after university, I actually had a bad accident with my wrist, so 2 of my fingers unfortunately don't work.
I see.
So then I switched from being a player to actually managing live music, and for 10 years, yes, I organized concerts around the world, and I guess that was it. Through getting lost, trying to find those concerts, this has brought me to
So
technology.
you are not very sorry to lose into this.
So yeah, now I look back and I think actually this is okay that I lost these.
But it is just, truly you cannot play with that.
Yeah, unfortunately they both move together. I can't move them separately. So that was a shame.
Well, my 3 fingers all go together anyway.
Yeah, that's a different story.
No, this is just what I'm saying is there may be something bad, fortunate things happening at the beginning for you, you think, but it doesn't mean that this is the end.
Absolutely. I think you have to approach life like that. I mean, I just look at the different path my life has taken, and whilst, yes, on the day that this accident happened, that felt like a bad day. I remember the new day, I was then excited about making a management business and not playing. And I think if you continue with this positive outlook on life, it really bodes well.
And plus with your musical background, so serious academic musical background, you were probably a delight for people who are going to perform there, because you can fix it better. Don't you think?
Yes, I think that's it, exactly.
Audio, video, everything.
Yeah, absolutely, all the time.
What was the most memorable live music concert you made?
Gosh, I think the most memorable ones that we did is when we actually made orchestras and they performed on the mountainside in Italy for these private events. Some people really feel passionately about doing music well, and that was something that we were passionate about doing for them.
Okay.
And flying people around the world, putting the music together, doing an intimate but spectacular production was something I felt was a craft. And I think, you know, for many of the private clients, we can't say their names, unfortunately,
Yes.
but they really enjoyed those performances.
Private clients means one wealthy individual or group invites other people making a party.
Yes, it does.
And then they make a live music performance.
That's correct, yes.
What is the famous performer you have been organizing for?
We worked with people including Lionel Richie and Billy Joel. Yeah, some of the greatest artists of the last few decades. It was a real honor to work with them.
How was Billy Joel?
He was fantastic, and he played an incredibly long set of hit after hit after hit.
Wow.
And that was a really good occasion.
We have, now this tradition is coming to the country in Mongolia. Because it's a small population, we do some largest event organized in a stadium.
Okay.
Sometimes I see big crowds and a lot of music. What is the most important thing to organize this live, open area music concert?
The most important, in what respects?
In the respect that in the audio way, so that this, some bad arranged audio system gives very bad sound.
It does, but I think, like with many of these things, you just need to actually spend time, get good people, and get good quality equipment. And you can produce these shows very well, but they take time and effort to curate. So it's important to have, yes, well-distributed sound, and to have, top of the range equipment. And if you spend the money, then your show will be a success because of it.
I saw similar, probably it's good arranged stuff, but it was a long lorry, truck coming, opening. I saw in Paris, just in the middle of nowhere. They come, and in the night they make wonderful concert, just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So how many of these cars you need, these trucks, and what is the equipment to be there, and how big is this?
Well, I mean, you can have 30 trucks depending on the size of the show.
Wow.
I mean, because you'll bring in fencing, staging, lighting, sound equipment, and depending on how big a stadium or small, you will have maybe 5 trucks to 20 trucks and more. Yeah, I mean, it's a significant operation. So you can imagine for me, when in fact, one time we did an event in Italy, and this was one of the biggest events we ever did. I gave the driver the GPS coordinates for the venue, and he mixed up a 4 and a 5, and he unloaded all of the equipment 1 hour north of Rome, not 1 hour south of Rome, and there was a big problem that day. So
that's why 3 words come.
That's why 3 words, because I tell you, it's one thing when you're in your own car, and it's another thing when you're unloading a truck of equipment. It's
1 hour away in the wrong place.
It's a really big problem.
So how you manage it?
Sorry?
How did you manage that?
That day, there were a lot of very difficult phone calls, and of course, there's an echo on the phone, and I was spelling out the GPS coordinates, and eventually he arrived, but it was too close for my comfort.
Speaking about comfort, we in Mongolia, we like the language English, which is already international language. We also like history. I wrote a couple articles, and I made a small documentary called Making of Ladies and Gentlemen, describing about this primary education, classes where the children learn to express themselves and respect the others. In that sense, you said a comfort. And I understand the Brits, that comfort. You try not to show it. Is it true or not? That line.
We try not to show comfort.
That line that makes you uncomfortable, but still you behave until the last moment.
That is interesting. Yes, I would definitely say that is a character of British people, that you like to sort of maintain your calm.
Yes.
Even if you're not comfortable, you can put on a certain a certain facade. But I think that's part of our heritage of who we are, and it's the way we conduct ourselves.
Is it, you think, you would recognize or you could express as a British identity?
Yes, I think so. And actually spending the week in Mongolia, it's interesting. You suddenly feel incredibly British because there aren't too many British people here. And I'm now very aware of the differences between me and Americans and Australians. And I think I'm becoming more British now that there's only a few of us, because you suddenly, you feel proud, and I've been here a while now. And yeah, I notice the differences. But I mean, there's some interesting differences. Like the pace of life here is just electric, and I mean, London is, but in a different way. This is really just like you live life in real time. So yeah, for me as a British person, I'd love to spend more time here. If the Mongolians are happy with my, me not being able to express discomfort.
Well, what you do is, first of all, the project is fantastic. I think our people will do. I congratulate them with doing that with you. And secondly, also about this, I mean, it's also British, culture British. Probably it's in a way investment, isn't it? It's, you work together with Mongolians. It's know-how, it's technology, which makes the life more efficient, the business more effective, isn't it? Yeah. My point is, what is the most influential, say, British literature on you as a boy? The books.
So the most influential one on me as I was
yes.
growing up.
Yeah. Author, a book.
Yes, I know. I'm just having to reflect on that for a moment.
Okay.
I don't know. I think maybe not a book, but a poem.
Okay.
Rudyard Kipling, If you know the
Kipling,
poem.
yes, Kipling, yeah, we are we.
I think the poem If is one of the most, it certainly affected me. It was a poem that my father lived his life by those rules, and it encouraged you to welcome opportunity, to go and seek out things, and it's just something which, it's like rules of life that stay with me every day. And I think Kipling, and in particular that poem, was something which really affected me.
So you unconsciously, it is with you still
Absolutely.
Now.
Yes.
What is the most important that rule out of this for you?
It's actually about sort of keeping your calm when everything around you can seem to be falling to pieces.
Yes.
I think it's about perspective.
Yes.
And I think, just as I said, the day that this my wrist accident happened, I then had to keep my perspective, and that's something you should aspire to, because every day you could think of a glass half empty day. Things are not going well, but if you can just keep your perspective and think about everything which is going right in your life, these little things which happen are actually not problems. You just need to see them in a different light.
Exactly. Thank you for this answer. Another just final question on,
Sure.
we have a few minutes, on the musician, composer that changed or they made the most impact on your life and on you.
Would undoubtedly be Mozart. And I say that so quickly because I view Mozart's music as perfection in its simplicity, because it's not overcomplicated. It's wonderful, wonderful music. And I think whenever you hear Mozart, it can liberate your mind. And yes, the music of Rachmaninoff and Elgar and others is phenomenally powerful, but there's something elegant about the simplicity of Mozart, which will always make him my favorite composer and has most profoundly affected me.
How old are you now?
34.
34. Mozart living that short, 37, I remember.
Yes, about that. He lived an incredibly short life.
And he made such a wonderful works. I remember there is a symphony which is somehow called completely by the name which has nothing to do with Mozart. I mean, Elvira Madigan. It's 21st maybe symphony, where remember this Borman made a documentary about the Swedish actress who got loved to Danish soldier or general. They ran away to the forest. the whole music is the 21st. I think 21st.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is, but I mean, certainly you think about the amount of output that Mozart had in a life which only stretched to the mid-30s, and it's one of those things which you look back and go, gosh, have I actually done anywhere near as much as that human being managed? Yeah, I think it's good to try and set your standards and aspire to how passionate he was about his craft.
There is one idea, some people saying, I also promote this idea, teaching history through music. Musician, the composer like Mozart time, the music he wrote, or later on Beethoven, or before Bach, or Haydn just before Mozart. Is it a good idea to teach history through music?
It absolutely is, because, well, I think that because that's how I think of it. If somebody says to me what happened in 1815, I'm thinking about the music which was written at that time.
Yes.
And if they ask me about the 1780s, I'm thinking exactly about what music was there, or 1920. I think of the music of Elgar, and that's just, for me, is the most is what I can relate to the most. Before I even think what was happening, who was in power, what was where. That's just the way my brain works, and it makes me feel much more emotive and connected to that.
And that's why you created this wonderful what 3 words.
Yes, how funny is life that this is where I've ended up. But yes, simple and elegant, and I hope it does the world some good.
Chris, it's the most amazing idea and things that you are doing, and I'm glad that you are in Mongolia. Thank you very much for coming to this show. And I would like to wish good luck to you and to your partner, and hope one day we will not be lost in our small town too.
I hope so, and I hope that it's not that far away. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. За хүн төлөвчтэй өнөөдөр манай de facto нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор what 3 words энэ ямар 3 үг вэ гэдэг энэ вебсайт юм да санаачилсан эзний санаачлагч нь гүйцэтгэх захирал нь Крис Sheldrick оролцлоо. Баярлалаа.
Хэвээр
Одоо жишээлбэл
Also, if you see particularly going into the